Hello everyone, this is Baka&Co, a show where we talk all things anime and manga, from news to previews and all our idiotic views. I am Frankfurter, and with me is my co-host, Sassy Singletary Soloist, Magically Average. Today we are going to talk about Anime NYC recap, news from TOHO, and more, but before that, Mr. Magically Average, Mr. Sassy Singletary Soloist, how are you? It's been 2 weeks.
And obviously was not long enough for you to come up with coherent names for me.
Nope, never will.
No, I'm not gonna get into it. It's just there's too much to unpack with that name. But I've been good. We had a holiday in the United States this past week, so had some extra time with family, and that meant no time to watch anime or get caught up on anything. So yeah, it's same old, same old.
Yeah, agreed. I
Yeah.
completely forgot. Like, I know what I'm putting for my recommendation for the week, and I completely forgot to grab it. So if I dip out at some point during this episode, just know I'm grabbing a book. But yeah, I'm doing
Oh, it
well.
wouldn't be
Holidays. What?
it wouldn't be a normal recording without you dipping out and or muting yourself. So,
Exactly. But yeah,
par for the
holidays.
course.
Holidays were good. Family was good. Got to catch up on a little bit of anime. Got to catch up on a decent chunk of manga because I had an hour and a half car ride to the airport from Sam's parents' house and then an hour and a half ride from the airport to my parents' house. So in the cumulative 6 hours in the car, I was able to knock out a little over half of Mashal. So that was nice.
Nice.
But yeah,
Very good.
it was good. Good to see family. But family's not here nor there. They are everywhere. I don't know. That made no sense. News story number one. Big news out of Anime NYC. Anime NYC took place more than a week ago because we've been off for 2 weeks. But here are the big news stories and announcements from the event. Crunchyroll has landed exclusive streaming rights for the following shows coming out next year: Yuri is My Job, The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague, Dead Mount Death Play, which I'm very, very excited about. I realized like today what it's very similar to, or can be similar to, in the sense of like there's a lot kind of going on. Durarara, in a sense of like you're dealing with mobs and different factions and such, that it's similar-ish to that, but it's a little bit goofy as well. So Dead Mount Death Play, that'll be on Crunchyroll next year, I believe. Actually, yeah, no, that's gotten 2023, I believe, release date. Ayaka original anime, saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement. Hell's Paradise, which thank fucking god we actually got an update to Hell's Paradise, like it's actually happening. And
Yay.
then Ancient Magus Bride season 2. So those are coming out on Crunchyroll. Movies that are coming out on Crunchyroll will be Sword Art Online, the movie, Progressive, the whatever the heck. Oh wait, no, that's a different. This isn't coming out on Crunchyroll. This is for new dates and announcements, so I'm not going to do that one. That one's going. We'll listen to that one a little bit later. Shin Ultraman will soar into U.S. theaters on January 11th and 12th. I did not see that one, so there you go. Blue Terminal is coming to North America, and then you did another one that's in new dates and announcements, so
There
you're
was
not going to do.
big news in Anime NYC.
Well,
Ah,
whatever.
had
What
one
is
job.
Okay, well, you also, I thought we were going to include what was included in High Dive's announcements as to their
No, ooh, no one
acquisitions.
cares.
I do, because Oshinoko is coming out to High Dive, amongst other things. But
Well, Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible comes out on High Dive too.
there were
I
more
just
than
assumed you were
just
gonna add.
those. But
I
yes.
assumed you were gonna add those too. The moral of the story, though, because I couldn't find any other articles other than what I saw on social media, was that uh, nothing came out from Attack on Titan except for the fact that the author's really hard on himself because he doesn't think that the ending landed well, and he got really emotional, but people supported him, and it was very touching. But at the end of the day, nothing came out about the next season.
Yes.
So we gave them even more credit than what they should have received, which was we said there might be a new promo visual, like teaser visual, or even like a quick 10-second clip of something. But they got zilch, nada, nil.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a, I'm not going to lie, kind of a bad look, to be honest.
Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. It's not really something that we expected like much from anyways, so
True.
But the other big major show that's coming to High Dive from Anime NYC is Spy Classroom, which will be coming out winter 2023. I knew there was another big one. I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, those three are pretty big, and I'm very excited about those. So uh, those are some of the big announcements from Anime NYC. It's always good to see these companies coming out and saying, "Hey, we got this anime, or we got this one, this one, this one." But it's like, okay, with what's being taken, there's still a decent. I feel like there's a lot of shows that are out there that have been announced that just don't have a home quite yet, and it's begs the question: is Disney going to snatch up anything in the coming seasons, or are they just going to remain silent about it again? Or are they going to have their own event? Who the hell knows? But those are just a handful of the announcements from Anime NYC. And because of that, we are going to move on to news number 2. I don't know why I said because of that, but moving on to news story number 2. The giant in the film industry is ending its business. It's a bit clickbaity, but it's ending one thing but continuing another. To get into it, Tokyo Laboratory and its parent company TOHO announced this last week that Tokyo Laboratory will be ending its film processing business after 67 years. The company commented on the change in business environment, mainly the move to digital distribution, as one of the primary reasons the company decided to shut down. While Tokyo Laboratory is closing up shop, the digital imaging and video editing business will be transferred to TOHO Studio. The film archiving business will be transferred to a new company that TOHO will establish within that studio. So basically, it's like, yes, the film processing company, Tokyo Laboratory, is closing, but all the digital things that come with that, I couldn't think of a word other than things. All the digital, I guess, jobs and jobs that come with that are just transferring to a different company within the parent company. So it's like it is going away, but it isn't going away. Like the physical part is not the digital.
Yeah, but that's sort of the big piece of it, is that the physical releases of Blu-rays and DVDs and things like that is there's going to be a huge vacancy now in the, I guess, industry, really. And we don't really understand it too much, at least in the United States side, because most people stream or have everything digitally. It's not like a big piece in terms of like viewing or even collectability. But for Japan, like Blu-ray DVDs, like collecting, you go on like a lot of different Japanese-based websites that sell hobby-related items, and if you see Blu-rays, there's like 4 to 5 different types of Blu-rays for each individual movie that comes out. Like I was looking at the Odd Taxi Into the Woods, I think it's called, movie, and I was like, oh, it's on Blu-ray. That's cool. There was like 4 different versions of that one, and that movie is just a recap of season 1 with like an additional maybe 15 or 20 minutes, I think, something like that. So yeah, like the Blu-rays and DVD collectability in Japan is wildly different than it is here in the United States. So I think the fact that such a historic company that's been around for 67 years, which is a long time,
Yeah.
is leaving. Granted, again, like you said, they're still going to be putting out digital movies. They're still going to be archiving films. Like a large portion of what they did is not going to be leaving, but the main piece of their business, the film processing production, is now gone. So you're losing out on all the physical movies that they were making and releasing and pushing out. So I don't think it's going to be like anything too dramatic in the industry, but it is, I guess, sort of a sign for where everything is going in terms of film production, and that everything is slowly moving towards digital to the point where maybe we might one day see the complete removal of Blu-rays entirely. We saw that with over the years, we saw it go from VHS to DVD to DVD to Blu-ray, and then Blu-ray to digital, and who knows when Blu-ray is finally gonna become obsolete. But
yeah,
obviously Tokyo Laboratory saw something, and they were like, it's better for us to shut down now and just kind of migrate our production, the remaining pieces of our production, over into the parent company, because the film processing is not cutting it.
Yeah, no, I get from that perspective. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Like the only thing that's really worthwhile buying for DVD, Blu-ray for anime wise that will hold value, I would say, or like any of the Aniplex uh, titles, because they're already wildly expensive as hell. If you want to know how expensive, go to Right Stuff and just go to Blu-ray and go to Aniplex as the publisher, and holy shit, it's insane. But like that, and then shows that basically nobody knows who really technically has the licensing for them, or they're just, when I say that I mean like they're not on any streaming sites. Like good example, Planets and Baka&Co, or Baka&Co or Baka&Co, like those two alone aren't on any streaming services, and the only way you could watch them legally, quote unquote, is buying a secondhand copy of the DVDs. So yeah, like there are some things that are valuable and worth, collecting over, but yeah, I feel like that medium is kind of going less and less as the years go on with the digital services. I mean, we'll talk about it, in our last news story with Netflix, but like Netflix is like really into the anime streaming services outside the United States, and there's a lot more happening in that sphere in Japan now than there ever was. And I know that Disney's also becoming a major key player in that as well. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how, the business is changing, but it's kind of funny to see that it's now starting to actually affect Japan, because they are so much into buying physical and all this stuff, but now it's seemingly going more and more towards streaming. So
Yeah. Well, it's weird too because on the United States, I mean, I shouldn't sort of like pigeonhole it into just being the United States, but like the retro themed stuff is kind of is made a comeback to the point where like vinyls are now really popular again. I know myself, like I have a record player and I love getting the new soundtracks, like anime soundtracks that come out, and they sell out fast and they're hard to find at times. But,
depends on what
you
you
know,
want, but yeah, they do.
yeah. And I mean, and you can find some that are extremely expensive too,
Oh yeah.
like just because of the name brand or the show or whatever too. So it's interesting that like it vinyl's making sort of a resurgence here in the United States, and yet Blu-rays what was should be more coveted just for the fact that it's new age and it looks prettier, and you can it's DVD and it's not just music, it's not just a record. Uh, should be more highly demanded, but it's in fact the reverse. So weird times, but
Yep. Weird times indeed. But moving on, news story number 3. Who knew anime could be cool? Last Wednesday, Japan's Ministry of Finance announced that they would. I cannot read today. I'm just going to restart the entire sentence there. Last
okay, no one was
Wednesday,
listening.
Yeah, I know. All two of you out there, thank you for listening. Last Wednesday, Japan's Ministry of Finance announced that they were making a new improvement plan for the, quote, Cool Japan Fund. Cool Japan is a public-private company that the Japanese government employs to fund projects that are part of its, quote, Cool Japan program. These projects include a variety of business investments, including media and content, food and services, and fashion and lifestyle. The Ministry of Finance revealed earlier this year that the Cool Japan Fund may need to be restructured or even dismantled if the business did not improve its performance. The Cool Japan Fund has until the end of fiscal year 2025, so that means April 2026, if I'm not mistaken, like March 31st,
Yeah.
to become profitable, or else the ministry may be forced to consolidate the fund. The Cool Japan Fund has made strategic investments in Sentai Holdings LLC, which is the parent company of Sentai Filmworks, which, by the way, they have some phenomenal Black Friday deals. If they're still going on, go check them out. Parent company of Sentai Filmworks, High Dive, and Anime Network. The organization plans to have a plan in place by the end of fall. Now, this is one of those things that is just like, only in Japan would there be a thing called Cool Japan Fund, where it's just like, we are going to put money into things that we think will make us money back. So, entertainment. So, it's like the equivalent of the U.S. government putting money into Disney and being like, cool, produce us some shit that will make us some money.
Well, reading through it too, it's not just the domestic audience that they're worried about too. It's a lot of it has to do with getting more attention internationally. So that's where like the pieces of like anime specific stuff with Sentai, High Dive, Anime Network come into play because they're trying to get the larger international audience to come and invest, whether it's a financial investment or social investment, whatever it might be, into those areas of business. So it like that piece is probably where they're struggling the most with because of COVID, right? Because it was still for the most part for this year impacting countries, but 2 years now, whatever, 2+ years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Time's irrelevant at this point.
Flat circle.
Yep. There's been such a lock on any sort of international, for lack of a better term, trade in terms of like, people coming in for the tourism industry, people purchasing items. It's hard enough that you can find items here in the United States, let alone having to search international markets on websites that are not in your, that are in foreign languages to try to find items that you may or may not want. So they lost out on a lot of just sales of goods and services. No one really cared about fashion or anything like that, or food. God, everyone was stuck inside. It was frozen pizzas and PJs every single day. It was magical.
Yes, it was.
So in that regard, like, yeah, it's no shock that the fund is failing. I shouldn't say failing, but they're in debt, and they need assistance. Yeah. But I like the fact that the Japanese government is investing at least, time and resources into a fund that is geared towards helping bolster those markets, again, like both domestically, but more strategically internationally. So that way they can keep bringing in those different audiences that may have some sort of enjoyment in the entertainment industry or the fashion industry or food industry, even whatever it might be. And again, investing financially or socially into those markets. So I hope it holds up. I hope the best for the Cool Japan Fund. I would say one critique would be name. Maybe come up with a better name. I do like it. I like
it's
that a
very
2-year-old.
Governmental. It's very governmental, made of like, what can we name it for the youths?
It's very second grade project. Come up with a name for the government style. Yeah, but it gets its point across. It's Cool Japan. It's for like.
We're
to
cool.
Make Japan seem, like a 90s commercial, like yo my fellow dudes, what is up, what you be doing this weekend? We be ballin', bros. And then you do like a quick trick on your skateboard and then like tip your hat sideways.
Never do that again. That hurt.
Then you go catch you on the flip side.
Oh my god.
And then you slowly skate away and trip and fall.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I'm glad you caught on.
Yeah. Out of like real quick note, I was like very curious because I was just really dumb moment in my brain. I was like, what is the biggest export for Japan? Because I feel like this is a lot of entertainment, and entertainment's pretty lucrative. No. The idiot in me was just like, oh yeah, no fucking shit. It's cars. Cars are the biggest export for Japan. No duh. Yeah. Toyota. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Moving on.
I was gonna say, like, financially, like, profit wise probably, but like volume wise, hentai. We're talking sheer volume, it has to be hentai. There's no way it's not.
Machinery, but yeah, it's fine.
So I think they need to reevaluate their markets. Cars are cool, but hentai's cooler though. Come on, get with it, Cool Japan Fund.
No, they won't. But know what will get with it? New dates and announcements. Ha ho, hoo hoo, hee hee, ha ha. I don't know. I got weird fucking noises in me today.
And also the transition was very.
These transitions are very forced icky. Today. I've got like, I was traveling for 12 hours yesterday. I had fucking two stress nightmares last night. Like I am. Fucking...
No one cares. Sad trombone, whatever. Just get on with it. Basically.
I am Debbie Downer today. Anywho. New dates and announcements. As I said earlier, Dead Mount Deathplay, it's getting an anime. It's coming out in April 2023. Expelled from Paradise anime staff is working on a new project that will be unveiled in next spring. Tokyo Revengers manga is getting a spin-off titled Tokyo Revengers Extra. Wow, that's creative. Good for you. The manga Black Tiger will be ending in 4 chapters. Inspector Season 2 will premiere on January 8th. My Clueless
Add it to the list.
Yeah, actually that'll be something.
I honestly think we're up to 70. I think we're in
No,
the 70s
that's been announced. That's been on the list for a while. It's just it got a date as the when it's premiering.
Oh, gotcha.
That'll be something I do watch because season 1 had such a good fucking like premise, and then they spent most of it on a really dumb arc. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on, My Clueless First Friend manga is getting a TV anime in 2023. Bye Bye Earth novel series is getting an anime from Crunchyroll, Wow WOWOW, and Sony Pictures. I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World anime will debut in April 2023. The Tale of Outcasts will begin on January 8th. Oh god, this is that one fucking show that you see everywhere, but you don't really know what it's from. Himoto Umaru-chan, our dub will begin, or it began on November 23rd on High Dive. So it's like that like little gremlin girl thing that you always see with like the orange hoodie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing of like, oh, I know what this is, but I don't know where the fuck it's from. Yeah, it's getting an English dub, so good for you. The Sacrificial Princess and King of Beasts will premiere on April 2023. Liar Liar anime will debut in 2023 and is being made by Geek Toys, which is the same company making Dead Mount Deathplay. Sugar Apple Fairy Tale will debut on January 6th. Studio Nut, nice, will produce the anime Bullbuster, which premieres in 2023.
Double nice.
Bullbuster, yeah, I know. I was like
close enough.
I was reading the premise of the show, and it was just like, seems niche. If I remember correctly, it's about like a guy who works for a company that makes robots, but they have to like make them on a very tight budget, and they can't fuck up. So it's, I don't know. It seems interesting enough. The posters for it look pretty cool, so we'll see if when the time comes for that to come out. The Dreaming Man is a Realist light novels is getting an anime in 2023. Endo and Kobayashi Live, the latest on Tsundere Villainess Les Salette, sure, we'll go with that, will premiere on January 6th. The Slow Second Life of the Retired Dark Soldier in his 30s will premiere on January 7th. Ragna Crimson will get an anime in 2023. Golden Kamui's Satoru Noda will relaunch his ice hockey sports manga Supin. Oh god, this is gonna hurt me. Supin Amarada in spring 2023.
Hey.
This one I was actually very surprised didn't already have an English dub, but A Place Further Than the Universe is getting an English dub. There's no date. It will premiere at like an anime convention, I believe, early next year. So yeah, that's actually really exciting. That was a show we reviewed on the main podcast. If you go back and search for it, you will find it, and you will have our thoughts there. SAO Progressive's second film will release in the US on February 1st. This one hurts, and I know this hurt you just as much as it hurt me. Seven Deadly Sins, Grudge of Edinburgh, Part 1 will release worldwide on December 20th on Netflix. As if Seven Deadly Sins, like, there's so many memes about how bad the animation is. Yeah. We watched, like, part of a trailer before this show, we started this show, and this movie is all 3D CGI, and it's painful. It's really fucking painful. Why?
I mean, if you're into that, it's not bad, but yeah, it's if you're a normal, sane human being, it looks pretty gross.
Yeah, it's not great, but you know, if you like it, you like it. Good for you. I won't yuck your yum anymore. Crueler Than Dead author Kozo Takahashi will launch a new horror manga starting on December 15th. The Gridman Universe anime film is getting got a teaser and released a March 24th debut date. The fourth of 6 Girls und Panzer Das Finale film will open in 2023. Why?
Say it right.
Girls und Panzer?
Oh, it's Girls und Panzer das Finale.
Okay.
You have to shout it.
You could do the rest of them if you want.
No, you have to shout it. It's Girls und Panzer das Finale.
Oh my god. I can't.
That's the fourth of 6 too. Good God, who knew that there was
Yeah,
three other ones?
As if, like,
one.
you know, like how bad we were so mad at fucking Attack on Titan finale having 3 parts, let alone 6 films. Holy
Hey, how do you have
shit.
6 films of a finale?
I don't know, dude. Maybe they're recapping the entire series and ending it. I genuinely don't know.
You genuinely and generally don't know.
Correct. You're not wrong in either of those statements. Kaguya-sama Love is War, The First Kiss That Never Ends film will release in the US in February 2023. No specific date, but we do have February, which, thank the fucking Lord. I am very excited for that. Our fucking luck is it's gonna, like, come out the weekend of your bachelor party.
We'll be going to the movie theater then.
I was about to say, we're going to make a trip to the movies if that's the case. But anywho, Kodansha's Shonen magazine R will end publication in February 2023 and will announce where all of its serializations will move to in its January 2023 issue. So interesting that Kodansha is actually ending one of its magazines. But it sounds like that none of the manga will really be affected. They'll just be moved around here and there. So more to come.
Could be affected the Olympic stuff too, right? Kodansha was a part of that, I believe.
Could be, but it could be that, but I think it's more so just, I don't know, maybe they didn't see that magazine as being profitable, so they'll just move it to its publications to another magazine. Who knows? Yeah. But more to come there later as to where all those publications are going. MF Ghost, the manga, will go on hiatus due to author's poor health. Shonen Jump has released 2 new manga in the past 2 weeks. We've been gone for 2 weeks, so this is kind of news. Cypher Academy and Ichigoki's Under Control. So I've read maybe 10 pages of Ichigoki, and I was not a fan, so I stopped. I was like, this isn't my thing. I'm just going to end it here. Let it be what it is. Cypher Academy, on the other hand, I was actually really, like, the art for it was really freaking cool. The premise for it was really fucking cool. And then the last fucking panel page of the first chapter was like, and we are going to find the missing 50,000 cryptocurrency coins stashed somewhere within this school. And it's like, oh, it's crypto. Oh, no.
It's Tomodachi game, but crypto.
Oh, no. No, it's not Tomodachi game. God, no. That would be even worse. And I was like, you know what? The premise was really good because I really like the fact that it is literally a school that is just built on puzzles. Like, their whole thing is like, hey, we are a school that exists to foster the next generation of cipher crackers so that war can be stopped before it starts by, breaking, code and reading enemy ciphers. I was like, cool, that's great. And then they threw crypto and I was like, that sucks. Read chapter 2 thinking, you know what, the premise was pretty good, but let's give it another shot and see, if they're really leaning into crypto or not. And they did a really cool fucking puzzle thing again. I was like, cool, this is awesome. And then they were like, hey, more crypto. This crypto coin that we're after is actually basically like, it was just some bullshit that they tied into like a war fund type thing. And I was just like, this is no. You had a really fucking good premise here, and then you done fucked it right in the butthole. Like, this is so bad. Just no. So those are my takes on the 2 new manga that they've released, Cypher Academy and Ichigoki. Like, I wasn't a huge fan. They have a 3rd one that's out that's a little more tolerable, but it's still not my favorite. It stinks because, like, the past few things that Shonen Jump has released have been really fucking good. Like, fucking Akane Banashi is amazing. And I think before that, before Akane Banashi is like Glinka and Gluna, I believe. Something like that.
Akane Banashi came out before Glinka and Gluna.
No, that's what I'm saying. Ginka and Gluna came out is only on 12 chapters, so while
Yeah,
Kane
those.
Banashi is 40. And then even before the Ginka was Tokyo Demon Bride story. Like, I've enjoyed all of those, and then they've released just 3 duds in a row, in my opinion. I've just not been a
It was
happy
bound to
camper with
happen.
them. I know, but
It
it's
was
still
bound to
kind of
happen.
sad. But because it's like, hey, new material for the holidays, and it's like, nope. But speaking of new material, Dragon Ball Super, the manga will resume in December with a new arc. Tonakawa Over the Moon Season 2 will come out in 2023. Yomawari Neko, the manga, is getting a TV anime. Kaiji, which is a show that I've been told I should watch. It's really good. It's funny. It's getting an English dub, and it premiered today on High Dive. So that's pretty fucking cool. I'm just gonna wait until that comes out and binge through all that once the whole dub is out. But yeah, that was really interesting that it got an English dub this late. And it's not that it's just the first episode. I think it's the first 9 episodes came out today. So that's pretty cool. But moving on, because this list is long as shit. Holy crap, I forgot how long this is. Ayakashi Triangle will premiere on January 9th. Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, the film, will hold a 1-day screening on December 18th, quote unquote, the day the world got altered. If you've seen the show, it's the day that a lot of the events go down. So yeah. Futari Escape manga will end on December 16th. Kaina the Great Snow Sea anime will debut on January 11th. The Firecatcher Lord novel series is getting an anime that will premiere on January 14th. So I'm a Spider, So What? Manga spinoff will end on January 10th with its 6th volume. I don't know what the spinoff was. I didn't go into it, but the spinoff manga is ending. Batum U18 spinoff manga will end on December 21st. The Death God Detective Elria's Solution, God, that's a fucking mouthful, manga will end on December 16th. What God Does in a World Without Gods, the manga, will get an anime adaptation and premiere in 2023. Konkole Season 2, Episode 4 is being delayed to December 15th. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 tops Weathering With You as the 6th biggest anime film of all time globally. The Fruit of Evolution sequel anime will debut on January 13th. Love Live Nijikasaki High School Idol Club will debut on January 6th. Record of Ragnarok Season 2 will debut on January 26th. I believe that's a Netflix show, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Giant Beasts of Ours anime will premiere on January 6th. Adam, The Beginning manga resumes after a 9-month hiatus. By the Grace of the Gods, Season 2 will debut on January 8th. World Trigger, the manga, will take another 1-month hiatus due to the author's health. In Another World with My Smartphone, Season 2 will premiere in April 2023. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Season 2 will premiere on January 7th. Surun, The Linking Shot, will premiere on January 4th. I believe that is a High Dive show as well. Masamune-kun's Revenge R, which is Season 2 of Masamune-kun's Revenge, will come out in spring 2023. The world is getting an original pole dancing anime called Pole Princess.
Yay!
And it's 3D, so
yeah.
Take that however which way you want to take that, but that's happening. Anywho, the anime Revenger will premiere on January 5th. Flaglia anime, which is that stupid, like, this thing I feel like comes up every week at this point. It's that like boys idol anime project thing. It's going to debut in Japan on January 16th and worldwide on February 1st via Amazon Prime. Licorice Recoil spin-off novel tops 250,000 in circulation after a 7th print. So fuck yeah, go Licorice Recoil. Gotta love it. Hope it gets some more because that fucking universe is awesome and that show is great.
Yeah.
Code Nostra, the manga, will end in its 4th volume. Ashita no Ase Kimi Dakara manga will end with its 10th volume in May 2023. Tomo-chan is a Girl will premiere on January 4th and is 13 episodes long. This is going to be on Crunchyroll. Very excited for this. I've been talking about this one for a few months now, or, anytime it comes up, I've been hyping this one up. This will be a good show. I'm really looking forward to it. World Dai Star, or Theatrical Girls, will premiere in spring 2023. This one was a fucking weird one, but I put it in here anyways. The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls U149 will premiere in April 2023. Dark Gathering the anime will debut in summer 2023. And last but not least, Romantic Killers author is releasing a new manga on Jump Plus on December 3rd.
Oh,
Whoo! That was a lot
Good
to
job.
get through. Anywho, we are going to move straight into our last news story because that was a lot, and my brain has been busted to the point of no return. But the last news story for the day, Netflix can't stop pissing people off. Fucking men. But this time it's not the customers. This time it's NHK, the broadcasting corporation. NHK has asked Netflix to remove its titles from the platform due to ad-supported subscriptions. According to the Japan Times, Netflix made a statement saying NHK previously agreed to ad-supported streaming on the platform. However, NHK complained that the ad-supported service was not what they assumed it would be, and Netflix did not clearly explain how the service would function prior to its launch. Due to NHK's policies under its internet-related services, their standards forbid licensors to distribute their content if there is a possibility of creating misconception that NHK is recommending or advertising a certain product or service. Currently, NHK titles on has 22 titles on Netflix that are in jeopardy of being taken down, including Attack on Titan, Cardcaptor Sakura, and Mobile Suit Gundam. NHK. Anytime I see NHK, I just think of Welcome to the NHK, the anime, which I started watching earlier this year, and it's really interesting.
You
but
talked
anyway,
about it before, yeah.
Continuing on with this, NHK is also responsible for broadcasting one of the podcast's favorite anime of all time, Butt Detective. Yes, it does. There's still no word yet on if Netflix will be forced to remove the NHK titles from its platform. The company says they are still in discussion with the network. So basically, this sounds a little bit like maybe a translation error of Netflix saying, hey, this is what our ad-based services are going to be. Do you agree to these? Well, are you good with these? And then they'd be like, yeah, but then they'd not really realize, like, hey, we didn't realize you were running random ads for whoever decided to buy ad slots.
Yeah, it was hard to tell from the article, but it made it, the way that everything was worded made it seem like NHK was just not completely up to speed on how the tiered subscription service would be. Because for all of you who don't know, or don't have Netflix, or just shut brains off when any price increases happen, Netflix, along with a couple other streaming services, I believe, are moving to like a basic subscription, which is going to have ads, and then you have like your regular subscription, and then your like premium one, which is like multiple devices, 4K, all that jazz, whatever. So the issue was with the basic subscriptions having ad-supported services, and NHK being like, hey, you can't have those with our stuff because then it's going to seem like NHK is endorsing whatever ads you have going, right? If it's a product or service or whatever, and that's not going to fly with us.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to take our stuff down. So I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know how they're going to get around this, because I have ads on Hulu, and I can tell you, living in the United States, that it's like, no matter what you're watching, whether it's a show produced in the United States or Europe or Asia or wherever, you're getting US based ads. So like, I'll watch Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War, and then fucking Liberty Mutual Insurance pops up with their fucking spiel, and then
those ads are so fucking annoying.
Especially
the Limu Emu fucking ad. God damn it.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Yeah, then like Applebee's comes up, whatever, like all like US specific stuff comes up. So yeah, it'd be kind of weird for international audience watching things on Netflix, and then like bam, up pops like the fucking Geico or Carfax check the Carfax.
I'm sure Netflix has like different advertisements for different regions, but I get your point.
And I think that's probably what was not made clear to them was, are you restricting the types of ads by region, or like by show type? Because how is that going to work?
Yeah.
Because even if you're in the US watching Attack on Titan, if that's an NHK broadcast, then in theory they would want you to only be viewing ads that they have approved, but they might be all Japanese based ads. Who
Yeah.
knows? So I think that's where a lot of the confusion happened was like who's going to be watching it based on the region, and then what type of ads are you going to be showing those people? Are they going to be region locked, or are they going to be exclusively whatever region the broadcast comes from? So for NHK it'd be Japan. So regardless of where you're watching it, you get Japanese ads.
They're all just going to
But
be Baka&Co ads. That's all they're going to be.
it could be worse. Baka&Co and Toyota. Perfect. I don't
There you
mind.
go. Yeah, it's
just
kind of a
it's
weird one. I think one solution I could see here happening, and this would be kind of a petty and stupid solution. I don't know. This is the first thing that popped in my brain. Is that Netflix will hide those shows behind like the premium paywall of like, hey, no ads.
From the way the article was worded again, it sort of seemed like they were going to push that way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're only going to be you can't view certain shows unless you pay for the no ad experience. Which again, super sucks.
We're going down the cable route, baby. You want this show, you got to have this package. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn. Yeah. Like, we thought we were getting away from it. Maybe we're not. It's dumb. It's annoying. It is what it is.
I need to read an article too to confirm this, but a friend who is a wild Disney fanatic mentioned the fact that Disney's previous CEO Bob Iger has just come back, and apparently when reviewing the books went, wow, we are grossly overcharging people on Disney Plus subscriptions.
Well, yeah.
So
they have the most subscriptions. They're overpriced. I think it's like $15 a month, and there's only, well, I think there's 2 subscription models now, but still, it's like $15 a month, and they have like the most, and it's just like the probably most expensive shows you're putting out there are all the Star Wars shows, and probably the Marvel shows as well.
But with how the rest of the streaming services have progressed, like you see a lot of like if one streaming service does one change, the other couple start to mimic in ways, and then you're like, okay, then one increases prices slightly, so then the others have to increase prices slightly because it's getting more competitive. So hopefully, who knows, maybe something will shift completely, and CEOs will stop being greedy assholes. What am I saying? This is capitalist America. They're not going to do that. Get ready to pay $300 a month for all your streaming services, folks.
Yay. To the high seas we go. Not really.
Something pirate's life for me.
Yeah, but on a more positive note, let's get into our anime/manga recommendations of the week. If you would be so kind, good sir. I know what this is. Generally, I still have not started it because I have not caught up with everything on that service. So give it a little explanation of what you're recommending this week.
Oh, sure. I honestly didn't even think you'd know it. My manga suggestion for the week is Even If You Slit My Mouth, which is on Manga Plus or Jump Plus, or whatever it's called. I think it's Manga Plus, right? The app, the free app you can get it on your phones.
It's on Manga Plus. It is, it's Manga Plus. It's free, but I think after X amount of chapters, you can only read them once and never read them again.
Oh, and then they're gone forever. But yes, it's fantastic manga. It's about all of the like horror stories that are told and the monsters that are created from them. Basically, in this world, there is a family that actually helps out these monsters by telling their stories, which allows them to live in the human world and not be forgotten, because the moment that they're forgotten, they start to fade from history and fade from existence. So the story revolves around one of the monsters, which I can't remember her name, but basically she's the slit-mouth woman who in the story approaches strangers and asks them if she's pretty, and then shows how her mouth is basically slit from like the like upper cheek to upper cheek in a very horrifying manner. And her story starts to fade, so she gets matched up with the one family who has the power to save them, their son, in an arranged marriage, but she doesn't like humans and he's in love with her. So it's a story about how they have to finally he has to try to convince her to fall in love with him, and she is trying to scare him because he's infallible, he can't be scared before a year comes up. And if he can manage to not get scared, they have to get married. If she can scare him, she doesn't have to, and she can go on about her merry way. But it's a fun, interesting one.
So what you're telling me, and I'm very sorry for this comparison, it's a Japanese twist on the Mexican classic film Coco.
No.
If they're forgotten, then they disappear forever. So what you're saying is it's Day of the
like
Dead?
that little piece of it.
The Day of the Dead bit?
No, not really. Because they just can't live in the human world. They have to like exist in the world of like the spirits that they're created. The other piece to it too that's interesting is that they don't exist until a story is developed. So
Okay.
like their existence is only comes about when someone goes, "Hey, I have this cool story that I just thought about," and then they like through word of mouth and spreading and just constant yammer about this, tale, then it's created.
So
the being
Nightmare
is
on Elm
created.
Street.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street meets Coco. There you go. If that doesn't sell it for you, I don't know what does.
Nightmare on Elm Street meets Coco meets a Japanese twist.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a fun one. It's very cute. Very heart wrenching at times, but it's called Even If You Slit My Mouth. You can find it on Manga Plus,
which is free to download and free to read, and it is completely 100% legitimate.
Yes.
My recommendation for the week is a series which has just released its 11th volume. It is called Delicious in Dungeon. I started reading this over the holiday break. I've gotten through one volume and part of two, but it's a not what I was expecting. It's a series that's basically about these adventurers who essentially just lose everything, including one of their party members, to a red dragon on one of the lower floors of this dungeon. And in order to get back there with no money and all their gear intact, they decide we're going to take on the dungeon. But instead of using money and such on food, we're just going to eat the monsters in the dungeon. Which, people think is taboo. A lot of people don't do it because, it's kind of disgusting. They're creatures, they're monsters. Why would we do this? But
hey man, food's food.
Yeah, when they first start adventuring back into the dungeon, they meet like this dwarf who basically has been living in the dungeon and kind of teaches them the ways of what you can eat, what you can't eat, how to prepare what, etc., etc. And it's more lighthearted than anything. It's not very actiony. It's not very stressful. Their basically main goal is to get back to the red dragon to, not necessarily kill it, but kill it and then also get back the party member that it swallowed. So it's kind of goofy in that sense, and it is very funny at times. They literally like go into a trap room that has all these things, and the dwarf is like, "Hey, can you use that trap that has like the fucking axe that comes from the ceiling and chops you in half? Can you put the meat there, like this boar there, and activate the trap so it can perfectly chop the boar in half and shit?" And like it has like fire traps in this room as well, and he takes like a pan and decides to like use the fire trap as like the heating source for the pan so they can cook their dinner. Like it's so bizarre and weird and funny. Like it's really cool. And what's more is that it's getting an anime sometime, TBD, but it's being done by Studio Trigger. And I'm very much so looking forward to that. So that's the reason why I started this, is because I was like, okay, what type of show is Trigger going to be doing next with this? And I'm still kind of finding it interesting that they're doing this because it is very dungeony, fantasy-esque, that they really haven't tackled something like this. I think like the closest thing I could really think of would be a little bit of Gurren Lagann, which it's not technically Trigger, it's people from that founded Trigger. But yeah, it's really cool. It's an interesting series. It's called Delicious in Dungeon. The only way I know of how to read it is via physical volumes. I'm sure you can find a website out there. Cough, cough. I'm not suggesting you find a website out there. Support your local artists. But it's a good read. I definitely would suggest buying maybe the first volume or two, see if you like it or not, because it is very different. But that would be my recommendation for the week of what you spend your time on. But thank you for spending your time with us this week and joining us this week. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. If you want to keep the fun going, head over to our Twitter, where you can find all of our links to our social medias, including a link to our Discord. We also post pretty much daily on TikTok, so if you don't like this long sort of format and you like shorter format, you won't even be listening to this, so don't worry about it. So we'll be back next week. So until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then. Bye, everyone.